Les Carline, who's one of this country's finest journalists and writers, describes Bart Cummings as the Bradman of racing. He's so far ahead of everybody else as a trainer it doesn't matter. He's also not known for giving long speeches or waxing lyrical when a few words will do. He's just released his life story. It's called simply Bart, My Life. I've been reading it over the past few weeks. Bart Cummings, good morning.
Good morning.
Now, you pay great tribute to your father in this book. He was a very successful trainer and horseman. What's the best advice he ever gave you?
Best advice he gave me was to ask questions and you'll never stop learning. I'm still doing it.
You're still following his methods a little?
Yes, when you're on a good thing you stick to it, and modern technology's improved somewhat and feeding has improved, but the basics are still the same.
There's a lovely part in the book where you refer to him walking from Alice Springs. What was that about?
Well, the Gandon wasn't built, the train line known as the Gandon wasn't built from Adelaide, Alice Springs at that stage, and he was born in a place called Laley North in the Flinders Ranges, and when the drought reappeared there, around about the time of the Constitution, the turn of the last century, 89 or 2000, so he got a letter from an uncle who had a station up in near Alice Springs, and he was in 70 odd years old, and he invited him up to help with the cattle station, and he said when he retires it'll be his. So he walked up there best way he could, horse and camel or whatever, and he worked there for several years. During that period I think he wasn't much of a jockey, but apparently he rode a horse in the Alice Springs Cup called Myrtle, happened to win, and he got the taste for racing from that event.
Where did you get the taste for racing? From him?
Absolutely. Oh yes, where else?
I thought you were going to be working a menswear shop.
That was only temporary. It was just to get the confidence of the human people and whatever, and I was there for a couple of years, and I left and went back to working for Dad.
So his advice to you has been very good. What advice have you given your son, who's also a trainer?
Well, if he listens, it'll be another matter. It'll be good. So far, I'm having trouble there.
How come you listen and don't modern kids listen?
I don't know. Maybe they don't, but there's too much telephones, internet, and all the other things on the what do they call these little phone things? iPods. Oh
yeah, too busy.
So there could be a slight distraction or a big distraction there.
You communicate with your horses?
Well, the only horse I saw talk with Mr. Ed, I can't find one like it, but
but you do communicate with him?
The best we can. We'll watch them and give them what they like to eat, and if they eat more, we'll give them what they will consume, because that's the energy for an athlete, and it's an energy for horses as well, and high protein feed is the way to go.
You're talking about them being very, very intelligent. What examples do you have of horses that have surprised you with their intelligence?
Well, I suppose Ming Dynasty, who won 2 Caulfield Cups and a Metropolitan over a 3 or 4 years period. When it was retired, we gave it to the AJC for a clerk of the course, and on one occasion it got out, I tossed the rider up, I don't know which, but one morning about 6:45 I was come back early from the track, and was in the office, and one of the strappers came in and said there's a strange horse in box 3, I think it was, and he'd walked in and turned around, just waited for someone to close the door. I walked out and I had a look at him, and I said, I've seen this horse before. I said, it's Ming Dynasty. So he's come back to his own box where he'd been for all those years when he was in training. So it just shows you they do think, and they appreciate the home he had. So he came back to where he felt comfortable.
Do they get a set against certain people or other horses?
I do. I would imagine it's the way they're handled. That would be the case. Yeah, definitely.
You did manage to trick Hyperno, though, didn't you? You explained that in the book. Very smart horse, but you tricked him.
No, well, he had a habit, and some people have got a habit. I've seen people in rowing, running, playing golf, they're putting their tongue out the side or the side of their mouth. It's a habit. And horses who do that resent having a tongue tied down. So I took the tongue tie off because that was his problem. They said he was a non-conformer, but I think the reason was of the tongue tie being placed on. I took it off, and they never had any problem with him. Put blinkers on, and he won the Melbourne Cup.
Wasn't it Hyperno also used to get a bit anxious on race day, and you had to, and he'd know when it was race day, and you so by the pre-race ritual, so you changed that so he didn't know it was race day.
Well, we took him to the races and walked around without racing, and that confuses them because next time they go to the races, they think they're going to walk around again, but they pop out and on the track and it's all over before they know it.
So how much of it is horse psychology?
Well, it goes with horse training because I think one without the other would leave a bit of a lack of intelligence.
So if horses are that intelligent, what about jockeys?
Now that's a problem.
It's always intrigued me, the relationship between trainers and jockeys. It used to be very much the master-servant. Is it still that way?
Well, it's a bit different these days, but the intelligent and sensible ones are usually a little bit heavier, and they've got a weight problem usually, but they're usually the most intelligent of the group.
That's interesting. I wonder why. So the intelligent ones are heavier.
I suppose their ears are wider apart and they might have more brains in the middle.
John Letts, you mentioned in the book, John Letts, who people would now know well as the bloke, the jockey, ex-jockey, who does the interviews at the end of the big races.
That's right, an Adelaide boy.
And you actually helped him a lot along the way, didn't you?
Yeah, he was a good chap and gave him good advice, and he came good.
He was in bad times. You mentioned in the book jockeys seem to have low self-esteem. Why is that?
Well, that's something I can't tell. Depends whether. It's hard to say why. I suppose the way they're brought up or where they've come from or whatever. Not too sure.
Tough life for a jockey?
It's a good life if they maintain their weight structure and keep healthy and well, keep off the drink. It's no better way to make a good money.
You had a bit of a falling out with Roy Higgins. What was that about?
It wasn't really. It's just that he got too heavy and he was a great rider in his day. And when the weight got the better of him, he was trying to waste to keep the weight down. He had home problems as well, apparently, and the whole thing sort of went against him. And I just thought without too much trouble, we just went our different ways, and that was it.
Who's the best jockey you've worked with?
Beedman was Roy Higgins was probably one of the best. He had the powers of perception. He could see problems developing in front of him. He'd avoid it, and when there'd be maybe a fall a little bit later in the race, which he anticipated, and he was very clever at avoiding those problems. And he at his best, he was a great rider. Darren Beedman's similar, and so it goes on.
Didn't Darren Beedman find God?
For a while, but that was, I think the church found his money, I think, at the start, and when that was drying up, he came back and he's never looked back. I told him to get another opinion anyway.
I remember that. The direction racing's going now, I mean, I know it's David Hayes being fined for calling the vets knuckleheads. Is that fair enough?
Well, it depends the theory behind him saying it. I don't know, but
you wouldn't have done it, though, would you?
No, if the horse is not right, you don't run it.
Yeah, but if you disagreed with the vets, you're not going to call them knuckleheads, eh?
Well, he got fined, apparently.
Is that fair enough?
Well, he won't say so, but I think it is.
That's where I was trying to go. What about and you make this point in the book, and it's something I've been having a go at race clubs about for a while. A lot of the people who go to the race, the big events these days, are just there for the booze. They're just, it turns into a bit of a drunken mess, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I can't understand why, with all the $1 million horses in the mounting yard, why they have a big concert band blaring out when the horses are still walking up the straight to the barrier. I mean, that in itself shows a lack of know-how by the committee to allow that to happen.
Yeah, and is it just the way they're promoting the races? Is it going the wrong way? I mean, the real racing people probably resent it, I would have thought.
They do, and the young people would appreciate being taught more about the horses than about the drink and the concert partying going on. If they educate them on the gambling side of it and the racing side of it and the pedigree, I'm sure they'd appreciate it better than what they're doing. In the long term, it certainly would work.
You mentioned in the book, and it obviously was some anger, the doping of Big Faloo, 1969. Extremely dramatic time.
Well, it's Cup Day, actually, yes.
Yeah. You're still angry about it?
Well, it's a thing that, with lack of security, allowed it somehow or other, but apparently he was one of the employees, which we trusted, was got to by the bookmakers, and that was it.
You got a fair idea of who was behind it, but you won't say.
Well,
Can't say.
they're still alive.
Yeah, defamation.
Absolutely.
Neither of us have got enough money for that.
That's right.
Now, you must have made many, many millions out of horse racing.
Often, yeah, various times. Yes.
And you've been through some tough times financially. I mean, you mentioned that in the book, and it's well recorded. You're through all that now? You paid off all the debts?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think we're a bit above line ball now, which is got some breathing space.
Far enough ahead to think about putting the feet up?
Well, you never do that because, like cricketers, you don't retire when you're taking wickets, or you don't change the bowler when you're taking wickets.
That's true. So if you stop taking wickets, you're going to give it away?
Well, that would be the only reason I wouldn't. At this stage, things have never been brighter.
That's a good point. They have never been brighter. How do you feel in yourself?
I feel good and looking forward to the next year, and I got some terrific 2-year-olds in the process of starting their first trials and so on. So the future looks very rosy.
Do you ever feel old?
Not really, no. Only those steps I've walked up.
Yeah, they're a bit much.
About time you got a lift here.
Yeah, I agree. I've been trying to do that. Why is that? I mean, you're 82, just about. Why? How do you do it?
Well, it's all in the mind. I think I enjoy what I'm doing, and it's working, and I'm getting support from the owners supporting me, and as they say, things have never gone better. If you've got a good routine and stick to it, it pays dividends, and that's what we got. What time
do you get to track work these days?
Varies. I read about 5, but after between 5 and 6.
Why?
Because that's when the horses start working.
Too dark, can't see them.
True, but if the track if you've got 40 to 80 horses to work and the track closes at 8 o'clock, what opportunity have you got? No other.
So why do they close the track at 8 o'clock?
Good question.
It'd be a lot easier to get up a bit later, wouldn't it?
Well, the unions say they've got to start at a certain time and knock up a certain time, so no one opposes the unions in this country, do they?
How long do you reckon you can keep going?
The good Lord gives me good health. There's no reason to until He tells me I can't.
Could be another 10 years.
It could well be, but more likely 8 or 9. You never know.
I reckon 90 would be a good time.
It was possibly, yeah.
Jeez. Tiger Woods. I was watching an interview with him last night, and he's got $1 billion nearly. He's made out of golf.
Is he happy?
I think so.
He should be.
You reckon money makes you happy?
Not really. I've got some owners who've got lots. They're not that happy.
Oh yeah, who's that? No. Well, you've had lots and you've had little. When were you happiest?
When I was growing up, working for Dad, who had very nothing in the Depression days, and I think that was the happiest time of my life. And when I first got married, everything was going good.
Tiger Woods says despite all the money, he's still motivated by winning. Is that what motivates you?
I can't win without the horses, so I've got to make the horses happy and motivate them to win, and then we're all equal.
You ever found a horse you couldn't make happy?
You do get the non-conformers, and the way I usually, if they're entitled, we geld them and they lose the testosterone, and they often come calmer and quieter. That applies to a lot of particular breeds, and that yes, that does apply to a lot of stallions that produce brilliant fillies, but the colts are better off in being gelded, and that's the way we follow that pattern.
You're a legend in this country and very, very much respected. Do you ever sort of think much about where this country's going and what sort of state it's in, or do you not put your mind to that?
Well, at the moment it's not going too good, but Howard stopped the illegal migrants coming in. Now they call them something else.
Asylum seekers. Mm.
Why would that be? They're illegal if they haven't got a permit to be here.
Good point.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming in. Congratulations. We've got another ageing legend out there, Ron Barassi, who I'm sure you've heard of Ron.
Just come back from America. What was he doing over there?
Oh, nothing. He's just on a junket.
Is that right?
Swanning around doing nothing.
He should be working.
Ron?
Yeah.
Oh, he gave it up years ago. Too old. He's 74.
He's only a kid.
That's right. Look at him. He's ready to fight you out there.
He's all right. He used to be a good footballer one time.
Yeah, he wasn't much of a coach, though, was he?
I believe he was all right for a long while. He could still be. I don't know if he got fit again.
He was. You know, they're sending Kevin Sheedy up to Sydney to try and coach a footy team up there. Have you ever met Kevin? He had a good horse.
Yeah, I remember Kevin. I had dinner with him a couple of times with the late Bill Wiley on one occasion. He was a businessman from Western Australia. Nice fella too, he was.
You reckon old Sheedy could have an impact on Sydney?
Well, they need to do a bit of... He might work, yeah. Well, is he going to give the Swans, is he?
No, he's going to do this new West Sydney team.
Oh, poor fellow.
Poor fellow.
Rough out there.
Here he is, Ron Barassi, the young bloke.
Yeah, Ronnie.
Here's young Bart.
Yeah. How old are you, Ronnie?
I'm 73. I'm catching up on you.
He's only a kid.
Don't pause.
I won't.
Well, between you should run the world, you bloke, shouldn't
Isn't he fantastic?
Well, don't be.
And a great sense of humour.
Why were you in America?
Swanning around, you said.
That's right, I did say.
I was too.
That's why I thought he was going for the Swans or something.
But thank you very much for coming in. Congratulations on the book, J.B. Cummings and his Bart, My Life.
Have you bought a book?
Well, I'll buy one.
You run it out. You've got to be quick.
Do you want to get him to sign it for you, Ron? You can have my copy. What about that?
What about you?
Well, I'll go and buy one, Ron.
Well, but it won't be signed.
No, but that's all right. You can sign this to Ron Barassi, who used to be able to play a bit. Is that all right?
Yeah, why not?
And they've been to the race about 5 times in their life.
What about one of your books, Ron? Can we give Bart one of yours?
I will. I'll give him the most recent one.
How many you wrote?
I haven't written any, but
Oh, I see.
He hasn't read them either, that's the problem.
are you saying footballers can't read all right? Is that what you're saying?
No, that was jockeys.
No.
Yes, I was being a bit rude about jockeys. They're lovely people, actually. I once got warned off for saying nasty things about jockeys, but...
You didn't you?
Yeah, they threw me off Flemington.
Sure.
Wouldn't let me on the course because I said all jockeys were crooks.
Have you ever given
Oh,
a
there's a
jockey
few
a pep?
exceptions, surely.
Ever given a jockey a pep talk?
Yes.
Did it work?
No.
Bart Cummings, thank you.
Good on you, mate.
G'day.